Rick. Rick. Oh, what? What's going on? What happened? Rick, you must remain calm. I will explain everything. I don't know what's going on or who you are, but how can I... Trust me, you already know the answer to that. You've heard my voice countless times before, all through your life, and you know, inherently, that you can trust me. I will tell you the story from the beginning. 800 years ago, give or take a few decades, I was born Kokukai. I was born as a human, or so I thought. I never knew my parents. I was raised by brace yourself and keep an open mind by elves. It was not on this world that I was born, but one very similar to it, in an alternate dimension or realm. I'm sure you're aware of the concept. I believe there's a tabletop game you are more than passingly familiar with that dealt with similar premises. Well, what if I were to tell you that it was far more than a simple game? That there really are realms out there that are simply separated from this one by a thin veneer called dimension. A veil, if you will. One realm that connected all the others was known as the astral plane. That I know you are familiar with. You have made extensive study of it due to your particular career choices. There, I became a member of a group known as the Astral Guardians. With the astral plane having connections to every other possible realm, it was a choiceless cap from where invasions, attacks, or even simple murders could be orchestrated and launched. Without the Guardians, your own realm would have been wiped out 100 times over before I had even been born. It was during my training as a Guardian that I discovered my true heritage. I found that I had dragon blood mixed with my human. I don't know how far back it went, but it did mean that I could, at will, change my form from human to dragon. Rather handsome black, if I might be forgiven a moment of vanity. I served, and served well, I thought. I helped stop many conspiracies from denizens of other realms, even from a few that were native to the astral plane. One in particular, by the name of Kokukai, was a rather nasty creature, one that would trap and consume the spirits, souls, essences. I'm not entirely sure how to put it to fit with your world's current framework, but it was the part of our being that had learned how to traverse the veil in this corporate form, leaving their physical shell behind on whatever world they were native to. Astral projection, I believe you would call it. Me and my fellow Guardians had learned how to enter the astral realm in our own physical bodies, which allowed us far greater power than just our souls would have. Kokukai would also consume those souls that would enter the realm through dreams. For the dreamscape is but the outer limits of the realm. I ran into him alone and managed to best him, though it took all of my power, skill, and guile to do so. I very nearly died from my injuries. Wounds that took a very long time to mend. It was not long after that we began to hear rumors of an even greater evil that would be found in the realm. A truly malicious astral entity that had horrifying amounts of power. One whose goals were not simply the consumption of life, but the utter destruction of all realms, and the complete domination of every living being found in them. One that actually fed on negative emotion, though we did not know the secret at that time. It was decided to go and face him. I was left behind due to my injuries and the fact that I was actually the lowest in terms of power on that particular totem pole. There were 5 of us in those days. 4 left. 1 returned. Horribly mutilated. I still do not know how she survived long enough to return. It was then that I learned true evil had a name. Ludus. Latha died in my arms. It wasn't the injuries, gruesome as they were, that had killed her. Her very essence had been sucked out of her. Ludus then appeared before me, smirking. He attacked, injuring me still further. He left me alive, mocking me with the fact that I was too weak to offer him any sport, let alone challenge. Perhaps here I should explain what I mean by my power. You're aware of Ki, correct? At least the concept of it? Well, it exists. Mortal kind, you, your boss, everyone, has the potential to use it. Your own body produces it. It is the flow of energy. Some cultures name it as the chakra flow, through your entire being. Some become so in tune with their own energy flow that they can bring it out, utilize it in awesome ways. It was through my training with Ki that allowed me to unlock my draconic form, which made me unique among my fellow guardians. I also learned how to take on a wolf-like form, one that I used for situations that stealth and subtlety was necessary. It was using that draconic form that allowed me to fight Kokukai, who was an actual, well, a type of an actual dragon. He had feathered wings, rather beautiful, like a cobra's dance is beautiful, that were colored in the various shades of the rainbow, as well as a similarly colored fringe of feathers around his serpent-like head. Well, that's going off on a bit of a tangent, but I wanted you to have the proper visualizations. Well, long story short, it was through that form that I discovered that I could access the energies of the realm of shadows. See, there are a number of elements, much more than the paltry four, that are commonly known and utilized in both fiction and reality. Shadow is one of them, and there is an entire realm made up of that element. My draconic forefather was of that realm. I could use those energies to support, even enhance, my own Ki energy, effectively increasing my power 100-fold. That, however, was actually rather small in comparison to other dragons, and almost insignificant next to Ludius's power. He was nightmare-giving form, or rather, evil. See, he was the culmination of millennia, eons, of strife and aggression and evil throughout the multiverse. Fear, anger, aggression, horror, hatred, all these and more types of negative emotion, some that have yet to be even given names, feed his power, making him stronger. If you fight him with any of these negative emotions in your heart, you will only make him stronger, and he will eventually kill you. Again, we did not know this. I had allies and material links scattered throughout them all. I gathered as many as I could while I trained and increased my own skills and powers, and we settled in a realm known as Rayon. It was there that we suffered our first real defeat. By that time, I had increased my powers exponentially, learning to access other planes and utilizing their energies one by one. Still, the only entity that could honestly be stated to surpass my potential at that time was known as Shakar the Lead. He was defeated and seemingly killed. It was then that I became desperate. Against all common sense, against all the pleas from my comrades, I surrendered to Ludius, who had already taken my adopted sister, Relentless, among several other of my comrades, captive, and turned them into his slaves. I knew the only way to defeat him would be to learn his secrets, to submit and pretend to be his tool. He, being arrogant, taught me much, allowing me to fully explore the limits of my power. And I discovered the secrets of how to access the entire multiverse's power at will, all at once. Yet I knew that it would not be enough. It was then that I discovered his weakness, but was dismayed because I knew that for all my power, I could not overcome my own emotions enough to defeat him. It was during this time that my body went through another transformation. I became truly half draconic. In body, I was mostly human in appearance, but I had horns that curved from my head, scaled wings, and a dragon's tail. However, with this new body, I lost my ability to transform into a wolf. I was shunned by the ignorant as being of demonic origin, though I suppose that might have been a matter of perspective, as I had been doing work similar to that of the infernal kindred. Still, I persisted in trying to keep my heart pure, subverting those assignments that I was able to without Ludius's knowledge. I even faced against several of my former comrades. Their perspective was that I had betrayed them, and I suppose I had in a way. Yet I would not kill them. I fled, time and time again I fled. Then, one day, I faced the mother of my soul, Jason. Her name was Morgan, and we battled, though I did not wish it. I could have killed her at any time, and I think she knew that, but she still persisted in attacking me. I lowered my defenses, allowing her a true shot to my heart. A free chance to kill me. She did not. It was then that I revealed all. Ludius, of course, found out nearly at once. He was furious and set about a chain of events that would culminate in the destruction of Ray. I helped to restore Shakar's essence to his body, for he was not truly dead. Comatose, I suppose, would be closer to the truth. Between all of us, we began a massive effort to evacuate as many as we could from Rayon to Earth, to here. This was during your dark ages, circa 1200 or so. I gave what aid I could, but I had to try and retrieve my sister and friends from their enforced servitude to Ludius. I was able to free Relentless and a few others, but many were slaughtered by the Dark One in a ceremony that generated a lot of power for him. I understand that there have been tortures that would make a demon go pale. Ludius used this power to create a massive energy orb that he placed at the center of Rayon's core, set to explode on the stopping of Ludius' heart. See, Ludius, as a purely astral entity, cannot affect the material world unless he is inside a living host. He effectively possesses mortals, reshapes their bodies to his own. He can bypass the reshaping at will, however, giving him a very effective means of disguise. I fought him, sublimating my emotions as much as I could. I opened a portal to Earth, allowing Ellen and a few other survivors to escape, then closed it behind them. I did not want Ludius to escape himself. As I fought, I prayed that my beloved wife, Brandy, whom I had married while I was training and gathering allies, had escaped. Ludius had already made the threat that one way or the other, Rayon would be destroyed. If I didn't kill him, the energy orb would simply gather more and more geothermic energy and core until it overloaded and exploded. If I did kill him, his heart stopping would cause the orb to begin the process of overloading even faster, exploding within minutes instead of hours. Without much choice, I fought him, and I won without killing him. I knocked him unconscious, then left him and raced back to my home forests. Once there, I discovered that Brandy had not even been at home, and had not escaped with the others. Fearful, I used my powers to teleport across the planet to Shakar, who used his ability to locate her. I was about to teleport there when we felt the ground begin to shake so hard that nearby mountains toppled, some exploding as volcanoes would, though they were in no way volcanic in origin. I knew that Ludius had made his move, exploding the energy world. Desperate, I began to open the portal to retrieve Brandy, but Shakar took advantage of my intention and hit me from behind, knocking me unconscious. He took me to Earth, knowing that it was too late to save my beloved, as well as his own second wife and twin infant children. For 6 months, we existed here on Earth, healing our injuries, both physical and emotional. Then it became apparent that not only was Ludius still alive, but had followed us. To summarize, it took many sacrifices, including that of my closest ally Shakar, to defeat Ludius once and for all. It even took one more sacrifice. One needed to save the life of my sister, the only one remaining that I loved, from a last-ditch attack by the defeated Dark One. My own. I died that day. However, my spirit, my soul, it did not move on to any sort of afterlife. It was decided by the ruling council of elders, the government, so to speak, of the astral realm, that I was to be kept in a sort of stasis until I was needed again, and a suitable host could be found. That host is you, and that time is now. Ludius has returned. It is not known where he is or what form he has taken, but it is known for certainty that he is operating from behind the scenes, gathering more and more power. The elders knew that should enough of the concentration of misery and evil be amassed, it would resurrect Ludius even from complete annihilation that he suffered in my last battle with him. It has been surmised that it was during your world's World War II, or close to it, that he was given such a concentration. The attempted genocide of a single race of your fellow humans, orchestrated by the hatred of one man, coupled with the fear of that act and the utilization of a horrific weapon of mass destruction engendered, was what brought him enough power to incarnate again. It was theorized that Ludius himself influenced human interactions at that time to make it inevitable, doing so subtly that even the wisest of the elders failed to notice. Whether or not he did is immaterial. What matters is that he is alive again, and he is out to destroy your world. I have been spliced, for lack of a better word, onto your soul. Or, to clarify, your soul is me. You and I are one and the same. If it helps, think of me as an alternate personality that you can actually converse with. Though I don't recommend doing so around others. You might get a few funny looks if you're seen talking to yourself. But I am much more than a simple split personality. I am you. You are me. Rather, you are my reincarnation. Here we have a choice, Rick. You could refuse to believe any of this, turn your back on the risk of your entire universe either being destroyed or enslaved, and then destroyed anyways, or accept. Refuse, and I will be forced to try and take over fully. Our abilities, at least inside of our own mind, are roughly equal, so it's a coin flip as to which of us would dominate. If it is you, and you still do not heed my warnings, your entire species, and eventually all species, everywhere, is doomed. If it is me, I will be handicapped, for I have lost much of my ability to utilize my powers in the physical realm, having killed you. Or we can fully merge. On the outside, we will remain Rick Holmes, at least in appearance. Inside, and in terms of power, we will be so much more, and be much more likely to be prepared to face whatever threat Ludius presents. Choose. You have chosen well, my friend.